Guess what, guys? The snow is finally deciding to melt. Summer is just around the corner, or another winter, who knows? Anyways, we're out at the Sawmill shed. We're gonna get a little bit more of it done today because we're gonna work on the door. I like making doors. Have I mentioned I like making doors? Anyways, let's get started. All right, this is what we're dealing with here. We got this large opening. It's about 10 feet across, and currently the wind and snow and rain whip through here. So in inclement weather, I want to be able to close this thing off, but I also want to be able to open it on sunny days. So what I did previously is I installed this steel track. It's about 20 feet long, and what that's going to allow me to do is take the entire door and slide it out of the way when I don't need it. That's the plan anyway. Just gotta do some engineering on how I want to make this door, because it's just gonna hung. It's like a well, it's a barn door. You know, those fancy, trendy things that people, you know, take their very useful doors out in their bathrooms and put barn doors on them. Anyways, I still think the barn doors should be in barns because, well, that's just what they're called. Well, I don't think there's going to be enough meat on these little hangers because once I get the wood up there, it doesn't give me much wood to screw to. So what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to modify these guys to sit on top of there to give me a little bit more meat to drill into. I just got to weld those together. I'll be right back. That's what I've come up with, a long piece. I don't know, a blind guy would be happy to see those welds. I was thinking of doing a larger bracket, but then I was thinking you want it to hang directly over top of the wheel so it stays centered and doesn't kind of bind on you. So that's why I went with a single chunk. I got 2 secure points and then I got 3 wheels. Should be enough. Well, I got my basic frame in place. It slides back and forth, as you guys see. It'll actually slide better when it gets heavier because it sits better in the rail and it's got more momentum. The only thing I'm kind of struggling with right now is if I make this wall solid, when I roll it over here, it's gonna block my window. So what I'm thinking is to put another window that mirrors this window, so when it does slide over, the light still gets through and it'll be like double light, and then when it's closed, I'll have more light over here because, well, light's a good thing, right? We're not really worried about losing any kind of R value because it's a shed at the end of the day. It's supposed to block wind, and glass does a really good job at blocking wind. I've got some more windows, so what I think I'm going to do is actually make them 4 panels. 4 panels, and then that makes it extra big to go across there. I just have to kind of figure out a way to mount it. I'm not exactly sure on how to do that. Just gonna have to kind of fart around and figure, use the old noggin. This is the thinking project because it's almost the exact width of it. I'll probably have to add some brackets or some steel. Anyways, I gotta get the rough size of my window in order to determine what size I need to make my frame, because it's really hard to do it the other way. It's really hard to get a custom window. So let's start with making my window. I gotta just kind of cobble that together and see what I got. In order to make an extra long window, I took 2 shorter windows that I had and I cut a little bit off each one in order to make them symmetrical. And I find whenever I'm doing this sort of work, I find using the skill saw with earmuffs allows you to focus on the cut, especially when the cut is as critical as it is. So I slowly, methodically cut each piece in order to join them together. I used some PL Premium in the joint because my joint wasn't perfect because I was using a skill saw, and then I temporarily tacked it with a couple of screws to allow the glue to set. Later on, I'm going to use a biscuit between each piece of window in order to securely fasten it in place because I don't want it to kind of break apart there, although PL is really strong. Here's a little bit of a tip. Whenever you're using PL Premium, it's always a good idea to wet the wood joint. It allows the glue to do something chemically. I don't know, it makes it stronger or something like that, or it reactivates, I don't know. There's a guy out there that'll tell me why it makes it better. But yeah, anyways, I wet the glue. I used a little bit of snow and I melted it in order to make that joint extra strong. Here's what the biscuit looks like once it's all set. As you can see, I kind of mortised it. It's kind of like a half moon shaped. I used a circular saw, and then I made the biscuit using a jigsaw, and I attached it inside with more PL. And then once that is sanded a little bit more. I just basically planed it off. But once that's sanded more and painted, you won't be able to tell. PL, you can paint. So yeah, any exterior grade paint will make that pretty much disappear. All right, what we're left with is an 8-foot window, about 26 inches wide, and that'll allow me to put it on the front and allow lots of light into the sawmill, and it doubles as it's really cool. I like the aesthetic. All right, so that's my window, and it goes right about here somehow. I don't know. I haven't quite figured out how to put this thing in yet. I'm not sure the chances of this thing fitting, so we're gonna give it a whirl. It's about just under 8 feet long. Should fit in the hole, right? I got some stops at the back that will prevent it from flipping all the way through. I haven't tried it yet, so this is going to be my first chance. As you can see, it's a big one. And there's an inside and outside on that. The outside has got the sash putty. So the glazing putty on the outside, and the inside's just got the wood. So you want to make sure you always have the sash putty facing the outside. It's sort of weatherproof. You think it's gonna fit? You guys play some bets? Oh, okay, let's give it a whirl. Like it's not windy. Come on. This side needs a little tickle. Fits. It's just, that one's a little out of square, possibly because it's all skidwood. Well, it's in there pretty good. I gotta put some stops in to prevent it from like flying out. And you guys, I don't know if you guys can see over this side, like right there-ish. There's a little bit of a gap, but nothing like trim doesn't cover. I'm pleased with that. Looks the part. It's pretty cool. I like it. You can also see underneath the sawdust, there's still ice. I'm gonna rake all that stuff out so it can thaw out. It's all under the sawmill. So ideally, this won't happen next year. Is that I won't accumulate so much ice. And this stuff, if you don't get the sawdust off it, this stuff lasts until July. You see that's frozen solid still. Got to expose it to the air so it'll actually melt. This is what they used for insulation back in the day. They would use sawdust, as you can see. And there's also when they had those ice houses that they would store their ice into the summer. They would pile it in all in from the lake, and then they would cover it in sawdust, and their ice would last them all summer. Well, we made some good progress so far, although it rained a whole heck of a lot the other day. And now, well, as you can see, the forest is pretty much snow-free, but that doesn't mean it's not muddy. It's currently in that time of year where I call it mud season, and it's you kind of want to do stuff in the bush, but you shouldn't. And the reason is because it just turns to mud really, really fast, and you get stuck. And well, you make ruts everywhere. And if you can stay off of it and kind of let it settle, what happens is your ground is better for it. But if you play with it too much, it stays wet for an extremely long time. I don't know if it all compresses and the water sits on top. It's almost like it pumps it up. So I'm just gonna let it sit. My plan today was to basically harvest some more trees, because I've got this back wall here that I want to put boards on, because that's my kind of like my next step. But I don't want to get in the forest today. It's too much rain, so we're gonna let it dry up. Although I have another kind of a lead on some steel, because I want to put like a lean-to shed on the back, kind of like for outdoor storage. So we're gonna go check that out. My buddy Gord kind of gave me heads up on little bit of steel that I can get for essentially labor. So I think we're gonna head over there. Are you gonna supervise? What do you think, Charlie? What do you think? Yeah. Yeah, good kitty. Yes. Good kitty. Yes. All right, guys. We're here at the salvage shop. My buddy Gord gave me lead on this, and it's an old driving shed that that the owner wants to make a little bit smaller. So up for grabs is all of this tin that is on the roof. And he wants to take it back to about here because he wants this to be open, more sort of picturesque, as opposed to more of a driving shed. So that's the that's gonna be the plan for Don and I today, is we're gonna pull all of the sheet steel and give him a hand on actually removing some of the boards and making it a little bit smaller. So anyways, it's anytime I get the opportunity to get free stuff, especially this, like sheet steel right now, it's crazy expensive, and this stuff's in pretty good shape. I hear it's nailed in, but the nails are going to come out relatively easy, I hope, and they're not lead nails, so that's a good thing too. So anyways, that's my plan for today. Don's showing up a little bit later. We're going to start taking this stuff apart. Hey Charlie. Hey Charlie, how you doing, buddy? Hey, how you doing, Charlie? Yes. Hi, Charlie. This post was put in the ground 50 years ago. And as you can see, it got a little bit of rain on the side because this door opens. And it's started to decay a little bit, but you still have about 6 inches of meat on the inside. We're gonna excavate that guy out of the ground to see actually how well it stood up of the last 50 years. But as you can see, that's an untreated cedar post in the ground, and it stood the test of time for like 50 years. Here's another one. This is on the inside. As you can see, it was unpeeled for 50 years. Why am I peeling it? I'm not sure. As you can see, ground contact there. This didn't get the rain, so you're sheltering it from the rain. It's still in ground. It's untreated, nothing. Wasn't Suzuki band, wasn't coated with tar or anything like that, and it's in the ground. It's perfectly fine. So I think the idea is to keep it protected from the rain. Although, as you can see, it's not that far from the wall. This one here, again, this one's got a little bit of protection on the sides. It's got, because of the door, there's a little bit there, but otherwise it's pretty good. Hey Don, what's the plan?
We're gonna remove some roofing.
There you go. We got, I should help you. We're gonna take the ladder apart, so we have 2 sections. That's not gonna work. There. Hands. There, so now we got 2 sections. We're gonna get up there. We're gonna remove some roof. We're probably both gonna go with the nails. And yeah, as you can see, we got it all cleared out now. Easy peasy. What do you think, Gord? Is that your rainwater collection system you're taking apart?
It is. It's just going to be a little bit shorter.
There you go. 6 sheets. 6 sheets of steel. Let's even, doesn't have that many holes in it. It came off really clean. It didn't even dent the profile. That's perfect. Reusable steel. Well, it's all in a half a day's work. We started that thing after lunch, and look, as you can see, we've got it pretty much all buttoned up. I think the plan is to reface it, make it a little bit prettier at the front, because well, they just don't use it anymore, and they don't have that much space anymore. So they just want to, you know, if I can help out and get some cool steel out of the deal, that's you know, absolutely fair in my book. Didn't take that long. We pretty much systematically took it down because he wanted to save all the wood, which, you know, I'm all for, because why would you destroy it? Like, we could have just smashed it with the excavator and not even thought twice and just mash it up into a pile. But there's a lot of material that can be saved if you just take your time. We used a carbide tipped sawzall blade, and it cuts nails really, really well. It also cuts screws really, really well. The carbide tips do anyways. But as you can see, there's a big pile of lumber here, and there's also a big pile of lumber on the little trailer here, which he's going to denail and then reuse again. So yeah, like this is good stuff. So anyways, it's a good pile. And then he's got some trusses over there, so if he ever wants to rebuild maybe another storage shed further back, he can. And there's a pile of steel. So Gord's telling me this post was buried in the ground 35 years ago. And as you can see, there's no rot. And you can see that it was sitting in water. You can actually see the bottom. It was down to the water table. It is the center post, so it wasn't getting any rainwater at it. But as you can see, the bottom is saturated. I bet you if you cut through that thing, it's completely soaked, which, you know, probably helped it preserve. And if you can see this guy over here, this guy was on the outside, so rain driving at it. So as long as you have enough of an overhang, you're not going to run into that. These were driving sheds, so there's no overhang at all, basically. And eave troughs probably would have prevented that as well. A little bit more anyways. But at the end of the day, it did stand up. We knocked it over with an excavator. So really, you know, like we could have snapped this one off had we tried. But we pulled it out.
Yeah,
so,
that was a corner post there too.
Yeah. What's that? This one over here?
This one here.
Yeah, that's the corner post. So this guy over here, this would have been exposed on two sides to the elements, and you can see again there's like, so the exterior of the post has sloughed off, but the interior is still solid. Like we ripped that out with an excavator. He bent it over basically and pried it out, and it's still solid as a rock. So I don't know. Again, it's all has to do with your local environment to determine which method you use in order to preserve your posts. This is 35 years in the ground. I don't know, proof's in the pudding. How's that for a haul? Majority of these guys were dead standing, so yeah, look at the size of those things. They're all on there. That's quite a bit. That'll be enough to do our back wall and then some. But yeah, this trailer, look at them all. I think any day you can stay in the forest is a good day. That pretty much took us the majority of the day, but we got it all. We got it all at the mill now, and yeah, we can mill up our planks. So the idea is to do more board and batten. So those should probably mill up to about just under 6 or 7 inches across, and then I'll be able to make battens out of those. So my back wall will be all finished. Maybe get some less breezy in there. Yeah. You know what? I'll spend every day in the bush if I could, logging. All right, well, it's coffee/tea time, and let you guys know that we finished our maple syrup for the season. This was the overflow. We got a part bottle. Usually I don't fill them up that little, but we bottled it last night. We haven't tried it yet. We've tasted a little bit. We haven't really given like a you know, official pour. So this is what we got. I was gonna hand this one to you, Don, but that's okay.
That's okay.
Don grabbed his own. So this is the official 2023 sap collection. It's the coffee/syrup. Maybe it's got a nice
what do they call that?
aroma.
Something else, like wine taste.
It's like a sommelier. It's got a woody flavor with a hints of wood and smoke. Try it. Did you try it? Cheers. Cheers to 2023 maple syrup season. Let's give her. Are you not shooting? I'm just sipping it. That's good, eh?
Yeah, it is. That's very fine vintage.
It is very, very good. That's I think it's like 150 calories a teaspoon. Like I was reading like at the store what it said, and I think it was like a tablespoon, like 150 calories a tablespoon. Is that possible?
Yeah.
Because I guess it's just sugar, right? Oh, that's good, eh?
It is good, very good.
Anyways, Don knows he has a lifetime supply of it, so I don't have to give him this one. But you can take this one here. It's a part bottle. I don't know if what your stock's like, but you can take that one.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
But
Thank
hey,
you.
he's got a lifetime supply. You guys can live vicariously through that. You guys should try this. You know what? If you can't get some, farm fresh maple syrup, or like go to the store and get yourself like the farm fresh stuff, like the authentic stuff, or like on the side of the road when the Mennonites sell it, find yourself some, put it in a little shot glass and make it like a sipper. This stuff doesn't always have to be on pancakes. It could be like a little, like a liqueur, like a little sipper.
Boost, an afternoon
Like
boost.
a boost. Like, you don't need energy drinks. Just get yourself some maple syrup in a glass. And it's also good, like, if you warm it up just a little bit. Or the opposite, if you like it cold, you can put this on the rocks. This stuff is like, goes with anything. Really, it does not just pancakes or waffles or Eggos or, Anyways, we got carried away here with our logging process. I decided to start cleaning, so we're kind of cleaning the forest floor. We're piling our branches up in nice piles, so we give some habitat for the little creatures that tend to not roam in this forest because there is no habitat. So we're creating stick piles and to encourage our furry friends, either rabbits or little red foxes. They tend to kind of like hide in this area, and it's good to have the red foxes because they keep the mouse population down, and if you ever have a lot of firewood around, you tend to have a lot of mice. So that's kind of, I'm trying to, increase the predators as well as the what's the other, the prey. The predators and the prey, make it more of an ecosystem. And the more we thin out, the more light gets to the forest floor, and the more chances that this forest will actually turn into a hardwood forest to kind of have the next step of the forest process. Anyways, we're gonna carry on. Cheers to you guys. Hope you're having some maple syrup at home. Well, bring you guys up to speed. I figured I would let you guys know, give you guys a little bit of input on this. I got my comfy chair from Cabela's Bass Pro Shop. I've been itching to use it, and I think this is a perfect spot to either A, use it, or just to ponder. This is a boat seat, by the way. I didn't get to install it in my boat. It is so comfortable, I want to sit on it somewhere. Anyways, this is the plan. So I'm sitting in, I think it's going to be kind of like a workshop area, a place to sharpen blades, a place to sharpen chainsaws. I kind of want your input on what you guys see here. Like, I have an idea in my head. I don't know if it aligns with what you guys see, but that's my thoughts. So let me know what you guys think. See, I see like a bench here. Maybe like a sharpening station, like for bandsaws, or even like a bench vise where you can kind of sharpen your chainsaw. Some sort of floor so you're not running around on dirt. I apologize for sounding funny. I got like a canker on the side of my tongue. I don't wish those upon anybody. I got some stuff for it. It kind of works, it kind of doesn't. But yeah, we're just we're getting our back wall, just kind of prepping our wood for it. We've got most of it milled now, so we can pretty much bang it up. Don's just straightening up the pieces, so we have them all ready to go once we start nailing them up, and then we'll have that back wall done. Well, there's our pile of lumber that we milled up this morning. This is about 1x8, and it's from those logs we pulled out of the forest the other day. Some of them were beetle kills, so you can kind of see them here, which has got the holes in them. That kind of adds to the rustic style of this thing. Some of them were standing dead and the beetle hadn't got to them yet, so they're ready pretty much to be nailed on, and then the battens will follow, and those are going to be installed on our back wall. Well, that's a lot of wall in a hurry. As you can see, board and batten goes up really quick once everything's cut and milled and fitted. So all we have to do now is mortise our hinges, and then we'll have pretty much this wall. I guess it's the south wall. The south wall all buttoned up. The battens can be done at a later date. Let's kind of let it dry out, and then we can determine exactly how wide we need our battens to be. But I'm pretty happy with the way that turned out. Don he's got the window. He's ready to go. There's the window. We got the biscuit all joined in. We just got to mortise the hinges in, and then we can hang that bad boy. But yeah, it's shaping up really well. It's cool tool time. Anytime you're hanging a door or a window that has hinges on it and you need to mark out the setting, make sure you take the profile of your hinge and you trace around it. And then if you actually screw the hinge in place, you can cut it out with either like an X-Acto knife or one of these little guys. This is the Tuck XL from Tactical Keychain. It's cool because it's got a little tiny blade. It's retractable. You can put it in your pocket, and whenever you need to kind of do those kind of little jobs, or you've opened a package or something, it's right there. It's also magnetic. Clips on your belt. The link will be in the description below for these little guys if you want one of these. But I find them very handy, convenient, just to slap them in your pocket, put them on your belt, and yeah, they're really light and useful, especially when you're hanging, doing trim, and you need a little knife to nip off something. But the purpose of actually cutting out around the hinge with an X-Acto knife, a blade, is to prevent chip out when you're actually routering. So it's probably more like fine carpentry, not when you're mortising a 2x6 rough sawn lumber. But anyways, you get the idea. You can check them out. Link will be in the description below. The Tuck XL knife from Tactical Keychain. All right, set her back down again. Perfect. I just want to show you guys a little bit of my rainy day project. Now this is old-timey cement mixer, and as you can see, there's no barrel here. But what I got over here is a couple of barrels. And the reason why I acquired two is because one's got a crack in it. So my plan was to make one good cement mixer, but then I was thinking to myself, I want to make a rock washer. So I was thinking of taking one of these things and making it sort of like a perforated steel of some kind, and then it allows me to wash rocks. So I could just kind of shovel in some gravel and sand and hopefully make it into just rocks. Because I want some rocks. So this is the other thing I got. Here was some perforated steel. It's got little holes in it. So I was going to make a drum out of that. I don't know what you guys think of that. Input is welcome on this little project. So the idea is to dump it in, maybe have some water, and then make it clean or something like that. That's my plan. So there, give you guys kind of like a show. So I don't know if you make it actually wider, because my sheet of perforated steel is quite large, so I can actually make it as big as I want. And I got bigger stuff, the 1-inch stuff. And then if you're gonna buy 2 cement mixers, you might as well get a third. I saw this thing and I couldn't pass it up. I don't know the era of it, but it looks kind of old. I'm not sure. It like, you turn this wheel here, And the drum spins. It's like steampunk era. You can see the old metal wheels, big old metal gears. I don't know if anybody's got any information on this guy. I would appreciate it. It's old, like really, really old. You can see on the inside of it, it's I guess they didn't clean it very well when they put it out, or just because it's like, you know, a couple hundred years old. But as you can see, the barrel is it needs a little bit of loving. Although it did come with a belt, so I think this is belt driven. So either horse and buggy belt driven or like water wheel driven. I don't know. It looks heavy duty. I feel as though it sort of would be a shame to poke a bunch of holes into this thing to make it a rock washer. Maybe you guys are like, well, repurpose it anyways, even if it looks antique-y and it should be in a museum. Well, we got another wall done. We got the window in. It's closing adequately. We're going to tweak it a little bit to make it fit a little bit tighter, but shaping up, as you can see. Don, what do you think?
Thumbs up.
Got a thumbs up from Don. This is the Saw's Mahal. I think that's what people coined it in the comments. Not the Sawmill Mahal, because that doesn't roll off the tongue, but the Saw's Mahal. This is something. It's becoming something. But we got quite a bit left to do, so I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and join me on the next one. You got any parting words?
No.
Perfect.